In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Well, you get her on the phone right now and tell her she's got to go through with it. I moved my schedule all around to accommodate this lunch, and I'm not about to... Yes, I know what time it is. If her beauty sleep gets interrupted, tough. Hold on, I've got another call. Trisha Vanderhook speaking.
Mom, you gotta help me.
Tag? Where are you?
At school, I've been shot, and... oh God, stay back.
Is this another one of your tricks? I told you, you're not getting another dime out of me, sonny boy.
What do you want from me? I'm sorry, okay? It wasn't personal.
Tag, can you hear me? Say something.
What's the nature of your emergency?
It's my son. Let me through, damn it! I'm his mother. Oh!
Friendly tip, Ray. If you ever decide to get murdered, don't call your mom first. See if you can calm her down, Martinez, okay? Get her some water or something. We're gonna need to question her once we're done here. So, what do we know about the workout king?
Tag Vanderhook, 18 years old, set to graduate from this school next month.
Nice scar on his face. Any other distinguishing marks?
Yeah, 2 bullet holes. First one passed through him here in the side and took him down. Second one got him in the heart.
That'll do it. Well, I guess we're looking for evidence of motive, traces of the killer.
Anything that'll give us information about the crime. Looks like our Vic grabbed this to staunch the bleeding.
Before the second bullet finished him off. That the phone our Vic used to call his mom?
Probably. So last call was made at 6:05. Lasted 28 seconds.
And ended with a bang.
The door's spring-loaded, and it's got a keypad lock. Whoever shot our Vic must have had the code to get in.
Or the kid opened the door for his killer.
Look, trophy case has been smashed.
Track and field awards. There's a medal missing from the display.
Whoever snatched it wasn't too careful. Part of the ribbon's still attached.
Kid got killed over a track medal?
Here, first bullet, the one that got him in the side.
Then a shooter must have been standing about here.
It's a long way from the door. This wasn't some drive-by. Our killer got pretty close to the victim before letting him have it.
A little exchange of pleasantries before getting down to business.
Did one of his teammates do him in?
Well, they all look equally sinister to me. This gymnasium was presented, blah, 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 generous donation from the Vanderhook family.
Vanderhook. That's our victim's name.
Somebody didn't appreciate the generous donation.
Emmy should be able to tell us if... Hey, what's this?
Where?
In the kid's mouth. It looks like... Wait a minute. Check it out.
A medal?
From the trophy case.
Mrs. Vanderhook, we know you've been through quite a shock, but we're hoping you can answer a few questions.
We're very sorry for your loss.
I don't want sympathy. I want justice.
Of course.
This may be painful for you to hear, Mrs. Vanderhook. We found this medal in your son's mouth. Does it tell you anything?
Yes. Somebody didn't like my son. Tag has a talent for making enemies. He and New Amsterdam Prep are like oil and water. Last month he was thrown off the wrestling team. Last year he was badly injured in a fistfight.
Would that be how he got the scar?
I'm afraid so. Spoiled that handsome face, but what did he care? Tag had what one might euphemistically call an assertive personality. Came with the territory, him being a Vanderhook.
Should I recognize the name Vanderhook?
Only if you're ambitious, detective. We prefer to stay out of the limelight. But think of the names you do know in this town. None of them would have succeeded without the Vanderhook blessing. Take New Amsterdam Prep. We Vanderhooks had everything to do with building its reputation and keeping it afloat. Just last summer I gave the school a new gym.
This gym?
Yes, detectives. The very gym in which my son was killed. The irony is not lost on me.
Can you tell me why Tag was kicked off the wrestling team?
Unnecessary roughness, unsportsmanlike conduct. Apparently the full Nelson is an illegal move. Why exactly are you asking me this?
We have to follow up on every angle. What did your son say to you when he called? Did he give you any indication of the killer's identity?
He tried, but I didn't give him the chance. You see, I thought it was all just a trick to get me to cough up money.
Think. Did he say anything at all that can help us?
He said he was sorry.
To you?
No, to the killer. He said it wasn't personal.
Do you know why Tag came here today?
To work out.
Before school hours. How'd he get in?
All the students have keys to the main entrance. It's part of the school's philosophy, to show we trust them.
But the weight room was locked. Takes a key code to get in.
Yes, that room is for the athletes only. He had access through his membership on the wrestling team.
Didn't you say he got kicked off the wrestling team?
So he was breaking the rules. That's why he came to work out before school hours. Are you going to put him on report?
You're saying everybody who makes it in New York has to get the Vanderhook blessing. Say, you wouldn't have anything to do with putting Donald Trump back in the headlines, would you?
I'm in no mood for small talk, Detective.
Of course. Sorry.
I know boys his age sometimes tend to keep their problems bottled up. Did Tag and you communicate?
Yes, Detective. We had a model relationship. He told me everything, and I denied him nothing.
Pardon me for bringing this up, but if that was the case, why would he resort to tricks to get you to cough up money?
Excuse me?
Didn't you say you jumped to that conclusion when he called you?
This is how you work, is it? Seizing on every little contradiction and throwing it back in a person's face? Must be exhausting. As a matter of fact, our relationship did hit a rocky patch last month. April Fool's Day, to be exact. We had a rather nasty fight.
What did you fight about, if you don't mind my asking?
But I do mind your asking.
Listen, Mrs. Vanderhook, we're just trying to find your son's killer here.
Then I suggest you start doing that and stop prying into irrelevant personal issues. My son was a good boy, detectives, with a life of promise ahead of him. Now he's dead. That's all that's important.
I just don't understand how something like this could happen here at New Amsterdam Prep. We try so hard to model peaceful methods of conflict resolution.
A good example is the best sermon.
Benjamin Franklin. It's been my motto as headmistress.
Mrs. Boersma, do you have any idea who the murderer might be?
None. Tag was such a popular kid.
Mrs. Vanderhook told us he got in a lot of fights.
Yes, well, he was high-spirited, I suppose, but we all loved him. He was loaded with life.
Loaded is the word. What can you tell us about this medal?
State cross-country champion 1997. I'm sorry, gentlemen. I can rattle off academic records from memory, but sports records, that's another story. Is Coach Harvey in? Well, when he gets back, have him give me a call. I've got a question for him.
The weight room door has a keypad lock.
Yes, that's a recent change. Some students were complaining that certain athletes were monopolizing the equipment. The lock allows us to monitor who uses the facility and when. We issue a different code for each sports team, one for football, one for lacrosse, and so forth.
Can you tell us who entered this morning?
Certainly. I just have to check the record. That's odd.
What?
There were 2 codes entered this morning. I recognize the second one. That's the code for the golf team. But the one that was entered at 5:40, that doesn't match any of the codes we issued.
Administrative code, maybe?
No, I've never seen it before. 01010.
You've been headmistress here for 20 years.
No, just the last 8. I began as a classics instructor, moved up into administration in '89, but I still teach a class in Virgil now and then.
I think we're getting off topic here.
You said the first code was entered at 5:40. What time was the second code entered?
6:08.
$608? That's after the murder.
The killer went out and came back in?
Maybe the metal in the mouth stunt was an afterthought.
Coach Harvey? Yes, I know, just ghastly. Tell me something. The first place state medal for cross country from '97. Yes. Can you tell me who... Harris, of course. No, that's all, thank you. The student who won that medal is dead. His name was Harrison Bedford.
Harrison Bedford, the preppy jogger.
That's right, he was a student here. May 17th, 1998. Almost exactly a year ago.
You followed the case?
We conducted the case, and please, you don't have to remind us we blew it.
I'm sure you tried your best. Such a tragic loss.
Could the 2 murders be related? Were Harrison and Tag enemies?
Well, not to my knowledge. We encourage our students to rise above petty feuds. Semper et infirmi est animi exeguique voluptus ultio.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Harrison Bedford had a brother in middle school, didn't he?
Not anymore. Franklin's here at New Amsterdam this year. He's a freshman.
What about the girlfriend? What's her name?
I just don't understand how something like this could happen here at New Amsterdam Prep. We try so hard to model peaceful methods of conflict resolution.
A good example is the best sermon.
Benjamin Franklin. It's been my motto as headmistress.
Mrs. Boersma, do you have any idea who the murderer might be?
None. Tag was such a popular kid.
Mrs. Vanderhook told us he got in a lot of fights.
Yes, well, he was high-spirited, I suppose, but we all loved him. He was loaded with life.
Loaded is the word. What can you tell us about this medal?
State cross-country champion 1997. I'm sorry, gentlemen. I can rattle off academic records from memory, but sports records, that's another story. Is Coach Harvey in? Well, when he gets back, have him give me a call. I've got a question for him.
The weight room door has a keypad lock.
Yes, that's a recent change. Some students were complaining that certain athletes were monopolizing the equipment. The lock allows us to monitor who uses the facility and when. We issue a different code for each sports team, one for football, one for lacrosse, and so forth.
Can you tell us who entered this morning?
Certainly. I just have to check the record. That's odd.
What?
There were 2 codes entered this morning. I recognize the second one. That's the code for the golf team. But the one that was entered at 5:40, that doesn't match any of the codes we issued.
Administrative code, maybe?
No, I've never seen it before. 01010.
You've been headmistress here for 20 years.
No, just the last 8. I began as a classics instructor, moved up into administration in '89, but I still teach a class in Virgil now and then.
I think we're getting off topic here.
You said the first code was entered at 5:40. What time was the second code entered?
6:08.
$6:08? That's after the murder.
The killer went out and came back in?
Maybe the metal in the mouth stunt was an afterthought.
Coach Harvey? Yes, I know, just ghastly. Tell me something. The first place state medal for cross country from '97. Yes. Can you tell me who... Harris, of course. No, that's all, thank you. The student who won that medal is dead. His name was Harrison Bedford.
Harrison Bedford, the preppy jogger.
That's right, he was a student here. May 17th, 1998. Almost exactly a year ago.
You followed the case?
We conducted the case, and please, you don't have to remind us we blew it.
I'm sure you tried your best. Such a tragic loss.
Could the 2 murders be related? Were Harrison and Tag enemies?
Well, not to my knowledge. We encourage our students to rise above petty feuds. Semper et infirmi est animi exeguique voluptus ultio.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Harrison Bedford had a brother in middle school, didn't he?
Not anymore. Franklin's here at New Amsterdam this year. He's a freshman.
What about the girlfriend? What's her name?
Allison Conway.
Yes, she's a senior, transferred here at the start of the school year, sponsored by Mr. Bedford.
Are both kids in school today?
Well, they should be. Yes. Oh, I remember seeing Allison's Mercedes in the lot when I arrived.
We'll need to talk to them.
But they're in class. I hate to disrupt the students' education.
It's our education I'm thinking about right now.
So, Allison Conway goes to prep school now.
Mr. Bedford is a generous fellow.
Probably helps that Allison gave birth to his grandson.
Here's one case where being a teenage mother moves you up the social scale.
Detective Briscoe, Detective Curtis.
Nice to see you, too.
I guess this is about Tag Vanderhook?
News travels fast.
We'd like to ask you a few questions.
You know, there's another murder that's still unsolved.
Right. We're investigating whether there might be a connection. Did you know the victim?
Tag? Sure. I mean, a little. This is a small school. It's hard not to know everybody a little. And Tag wasn't the type to blend into the woodwork.
How long have you known him?
Since September, I guess.
What'd you think of him?
Everyone kowtowed to Tag because of his mom's money. He liked to brag about his conquests in class, and the teachers were too spineless to shut him up. I kept my distance.
So you weren't one of his conquests?
God, no. As if.
Franklin Bedford's supposed to be in gym right now, but we didn't see him on the basketball court.
He's off with the golf team at the Chelsea Piers driving range. They've got a big tournament coming up, and the coach has them all practicing their swings. What? Check with Mr. Tate if you don't believe me.
Golf on a day like this. It's been pouring all morning.
The driving range is covered now.
Must have happened after they revoked your membership. How old's the little guy now?
6 months. You should see him. So full of energy. He rolled over for the first time last week.
That's great.
Hate to be a killjoy, but shouldn't we get back to the subject at hand?
Something peculiar about this murder.
Tag had a medal shoved in his mouth. Harrison's medal, right?
How do these things get out?
It's a high school detective. So, who do you think put it in there? Harrison's ghost?
Would he have reason to? Did he have something against Tag?
When me and Harrison were together, we didn't waste time talking about Tad Vanderhook, okay? But he did stick up for me once when Tag was a real ass.
I thought you first met Tag this past September.
Yeah. Not counting that house party last spring.
Tell us about that house party.
Harrison wanted to introduce me to his prep school friends. Tag wasn't invited, but he showed up anyway. About midnight. He got in my face and called me Harrison's little Brooklyn bitch. Harrison got him in a headlock and made him apologize. Totally humiliated him. It was awesome.
And that was the end of it? Tag ran off with his tail between his legs?
I don't really remember how it ended, to be honest. I was pretty wasted at the time. I passed out not too long afterwards.
Where were you at 6 o'clock this morning?
6 o'clock? I was at home.
Home is still in Brooklyn?
No, I live with the Bedfords now, ever since Brendan was born. I thought you knew that.
Memory's the first thing to go.
Can anyone confirm your whereabouts?
Sure, the whole household was up at 6. Brendan was throwing one of his famous tantrums. He's got a scream that could shatter glass. I tried to sneak canned baby food onto his plate and he caught on. So I have to go down to the kitchen and mix him up a fresh batch in the blender.
Kid's got discriminating tastes.
He's a Bedford.
What makes your baby food so special?
Arugula. I know, kids are supposed to hate stuff like that, right? But Bendy inhales it. I call him Bendy.
Let's get back to the murder, okay? You live in the same house as Franklin. Was he there at 6?
Sure, I assume.
You didn't see him?
No, I mean, he would have still been asleep at that hour.
You told us nobody could sleep on account of your baby.
Nobody except Franklin, I meant. That kid could sleep through anything.
Did you actually see Franklin this morning?
No.
Tag insults you. Harrison attacks Tag. And later, Harrison is dead. I guess people must have pointed fingers.
At Tag? Like I said, I hardly knew him. When you guys ruled him out as a suspect, I never gave him another thought.
What about the people who did know him?
I guess a lot of the kids around here kept on thinking he might have been involved.
Did Tag do anything to dispel their suspicions?
Tag was a bully. I think he liked having people think he was a killer, especially the younger kids.
Kids like Franklin.
Thanks, Allison. We'll be in touch.
You think our boy Franklin is the killer?
Pieces seem to fit.
So, if he entered the golf team code to get back into the weight room after the murder, who entered the first code?
The mystery code? Well, could have been Tag himself. His weight room privileges were revoked when he got kicked off the wrestling team, but his mom said he was good at getting around the rules.
So then Tag let Franklin in.
Not realizing the kid had a gun and meant business.
It's a good theory. Not enough evidence for an arrest.
Not yet. Come on, let's find some.
Can't you just talk to him when he gets back from the driving range?
We intend to do that, but in the meantime, we need to take a look in his locker.
Oh, you can't do that without a warrant.
No, but you can. New Jersey versus TLO. Back in '85, Supreme Court decided school administrators have the right to search lockers, provided they have just cause for suspicion.
You've done your homework, Detective. I'm impressed. Still, I don't know. Franklin Bedford's always been a well-behaved student.
He's on the golf team.
That wasn't a crime last time I checked.
Yeah, but somebody entered the golf team's code to get into the weight room this morning.
There are plenty of students who use that code, detectives. I don't see why suspicion should fasten on Franklin.
We think Franklin blamed Tag for his brother's death.
Oh dear. I'm not unaware of the rumors that have been circulating around the school.
Revenge is a powerful motivator, Mrs. Boersma.
I suppose I should open that locker for you. Here it is, number 224. What exactly are you expecting to find?
We'll know it when we see it. Bingo.
See you at lunch, Tyler.
Franklin Bedford, where were you this morning at 6?
Why? What's this about?
Little matter of a murder weapon we found in your locker. Care to explain? Book him.
You are under arrest for the murder of Tag Vanderhook. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to a lawyer.
No confession yet?
Not a word. They must teach counter-interrogation at that fancy prep school.
Time to turn up the pressure.
Good cop, bad cop?
Mm-hmm. He's only 15. He's not too old to cry. You get him there, then I'll turn on the compassion and bring him home.
I'm sick of waiting for a confession from this punk. We got the weapon, we got the motive. At this point, he's just wasting our time.
Go easy, detective. Come on, Franklin. Come clean. It'll be a lot easier for everybody if you do.
My client maintains he's innocent.
Give me a break. Where's a little kid like you get a hold of a Walther P-22? Daddy give it to you for first communion?
My client has no idea how that weapon got into his locker.
For Christ's sakes. You hated Tag, didn't you? Of course you did. Harrison didn't like him a bit, and you wanted to be just like Harrison.
Don't talk about my brother.
Franklin, it's okay.
Sure, Harrison was your hero. Great athlete, big man on campus, the perfect older brother. But the hero died, and his enemy went on living. It must have burned you up every time you saw Tag's smirking face in the hall. Knowing how he got away with murder.
Shut up. Shut up! You don't know what really happened.
Don't take the bait.
He killed your brother. At least that's what you thought. You did it in the name of justice. The DA will recommend leniency.
Everybody knew Tag killed your brother, but nobody could touch him. There he was, walking around free, laughing about Harrison, telling everybody what a loser Harrison was.
Lies. It was all lies! He was a damn liar, and so are you. He deserved it. He deserved what he got.
Franklin, watch yourself.
Sure, you had every right to be outraged. And you had access to a gun?
My dad's safe. I found the combination.
So you stashed it in your locker, and when the opportunity presented itself...
But I didn't. I wanted to. I admit it. I brought the gun to school, but then everybody started whispering, and I couldn't go through with it. I wasn't the one who shot Tag, I swear!
Then who did?
I don't know.
Close enough to a confession for me.
Docket number 4258677. People versus Franklin Bedford. Felony murder in the first degree.
How does your client plead, Mr. Vance?
Innocent, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the people request bail in the amount of $500,000.
That's excessive. My client is a juvenile.
So was the victim. Franklin Bedford shot him in cold blood and then returned to desecrate